Hello, brothers and sisters. As we contemplate our present surroundings, we can become troubled regarding our near-term future. We may think, I know that in the future I will spend eternity with God, but what about now? Events that provided comfort to me in this life are canceled. People that encouraged me have disappointed me. Most of us have bad days or bad times, wherein we struggle with our emotional or spiritual challenges. We call these dark times. These are times we may feel sluggish, gloomy, or perhaps even stormy, having little patience and compassion for other people, perhaps mostly focused on ourselves, but it overflows. These are times that we are in an unsettled state. We may even feel overwhelmed and agitated. On the other hand, when we enjoy less conflicted feelings, our view is optimistic and energized. Our motivation, creativity, and productivity excel. In these times, personal accomplishments tend to fuel our continued positive attitudes. When one goes into a conflict, they must have both defensive and offensive concerns. Most combatants would like to be in a place where they can visualize their adversary and prepare both defensive and offensive measures. On land, elevated locations provide not only spatial awareness, but also create a challenge for opponents to reach the combatant's location easily. Such a place also allows more aerial space to launch bombardments. On the other hand, low places are the exact opposite. Enemies can move faster toward lower locations with less effort and can view any preparations being made for defense. As one goes into a conflict, less than fully alert, with a sluggish, gloomy feeling or attitude, they may feel like a darkness is hovering over them. Such darkness may be suffocating and make them feel as though they are in a confined place with little actions to be taken. They're surrounded by the enemy, little expectation of positive resolution. In these times, Psalm 23, verse 4 may come to mind. Let's start with that one verse. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Some situations can feel like a dark valley. In Psalm 23, we usually think about it may have been mistranslated or not translated clearly. The Hebrew word is salmut, which means thick darkness, as some would translate a deep, dark shadow. Like many words, this word also has other nuances. In this case, the other nuance is death. But the context of Psalm 23 doesn't really support the death aspect that is used sometime. The main focus of Psalm 23 seems to be how the author, likely David, regarded a very dark emotional time in his life. He was surrounded by blessings, hope of recovery. And he describes this with overcoming words such as green pastures, still waters, soul restoration, and paths of righteousness. This is what he found while depending on God. Today, the dark times that surround us may be an attack by Satan, this sinister virus pandemic, or even other disruption of our lives that we have become comfortable living. Such challenges can cause anyone to feel as if they are staggering in uncertainty or confusion. These are dark times in our lives, the dark valleys. However, the writer of Psalms says in these valleys, he will fear no evil. Fear is a very debilitating aspect for a highly trained combatant. It is one's attitude that will guide the fighter's response. Most soldiers are trained to quickly react to a situation in a predictable manner that will protect themselves and their combat. There is little time to let fear fester. But what allows this fear to be quenched? The writer also says the lack of fear is mitigated because your rod and your staff, they comfort me. While these implements were used in various ways to enhance one another, the basic word picture behind rod is a tool for discipline and protection against any threat. Similarly, the staff was used to reorient a wandering sheep and also protect against danger. It was also a symbol of leadership and guidance and authority. At the present time, our Good Shepherd guides and protects us from evil by way of the indwelling Holy Spirit. So long as we are willing followers, He is our rod and our staff. Jesus characterized the area close to Him as being in the light, no darkness. Paul reminds us in Ephesians 5:8, "For at one time you were darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light." We need to walk without fear. Many songwriters have spoken of darkness and the pathway out with such phrases as, "I can see clearly now," or "beautiful sunrise," or "heavenly sunlight," plus others. Admittedly, Christians are not immune to dark times in their physical lives. But these troubles can be softened by keeping our eyes on Jesus and listening to the guidance from the Holy Spirit. Too many times, we want our own desires fulfilled rapidly. Our longings may not be God's desires, or our expected timeline may not agree with God's. Our faith and trust in God can produce hope, which is crucial in times like this. This pandemic will pass. Yet this may be a time Christians have different opportunities to reach out to those who have little hope of anything that follows this earthly life. Let's depend on our hope for energizing us to trust God and look to the Holy Spirit for boldness and courage to help others find solace in these times. Thank you. Grace and peace to you.